I don't play multiplayer games very often anymore. Of course, I'm playing some right now for gameplay footage, but I've had my fair share of games like Call of Duty and Overwatch with friends in the past. However, these days I spend most of my time when I'm gaming immersing myself in a brand new single player experience, usually looking through every nook and cranny of the game and unlocking the achievements one by one. I'll do this until I'm happy that I've pretty much milked every second and every penny that I can, and if it was an enjoyable experience, I'll revisit it every once in a while afterwards. Recently I went back to Dying Light, a first person hack and slash title which perfectly mixes both the zombie genre and the parkour genre into one title. I had played it prior, but I had been recently in the mood to go back and finish it all over again. I finished it within 30 hours of exciting gameplay with most of the collectibles found, all the main and side quests finished, and I'd leveled up my skill trees. And though there was a co-op and multiplayer aspect to the game whilst I was playing, I never felt forced at any point to rely on any part of the game in co-op. There were no sections which were too difficult that I needed a second player. I had the ability to happily slay zombies and do whatever I wanted. Like any single player game, I was in my own power fantasy. However, from time to time, I too want to play a multiplayer game which I wouldn't get angry at, where I don't have to feel competitive about what I do, or if I frequently die, I don't have to worry about any of my existing stats dropping. I want a sweet mix of the multiplayer experience you simply can't emulate with a single player game, and have the power fantasy that only a single player experience can fuel, unless if you're good at multiplayer titles unlike me. Sometimes I can have a game of Warzone and I could be perfectly okay with dying even if I was doing well, and other times I just want to tear my own teeth out. Suppose it depends on my mood that day. There is a solution to this, however, which I feel we don't give enough credit for. We sometimes overlook it and don't truly appreciate the power of computers and the complex mathematics which go into these unsung heroes of gaming. I'm of course talking about the bots. Plenty of games have utilised them for a variety of uses, whether they're friendly, neutral or hostile bots. Different games like Left 4 Dead show how fun it is to gun down hordes of the undead with 3 AI friends beside you. Grand Theft Auto has neutral AI, who make the world feel more alive. Of course, I'm referring to the random pedestrians who roam the streets. And finally, you have the enemy AI, who pose a threat and force you to think on your toes from time to time. Fighting the enemies from Doom Eternal is a perfect example of the quick thinking, hit and run combat which only the AI can perfectly simulate over a human. Of course, I've had my fair share with bots. As a kid I would bounce between 2 games where I would completely ignore the other multiplayer servers being hosted by other humans and would hop into a game where I selected the map I wanted, picked how many bots I wanted, and selected the difficulty that I wanted. If I wanted to go up against frustrating AI that would test my limits, that was my choice and I fully knew that. And if I wanted that power fantasy that I consistently referred to, then I'll lower their difficulty to an easier option for a more casual experience. I am referring to Counter-Strike Source and Unreal Tournament, 2 games which I probably shouldn't have been playing as a kid, but that's beside the point. As a kid with a PC, I didn't have many friends to play with, and when I did get a console, being the Xbox, most of them had already moved on to PlayStation. This meant most of my childhood consisted of me either playing games with my brothers or hopping onto a game of Counter-Strike or Unreal Tournament and enabling the bots, which would always lead to new and fun outcomes which would serve as a great memory for years to come. For instance, I have plenty of memories of putting on a game of CS Office and having as many of the bots as possible to fight alongside, and when I would die and I had to spectate them, it would always be funny to see the AI glitch out or pull off the unthinkable and take on 5 others. Or sometimes I would put myself in that 1 versus 5 scenario, and of course I would lose every time, but it was fun to experiment with unique situations which I had full control of. Same goes with Unreal Tournament. I'd load up a level of CTF facing world, add the bots and take them on, with new scenarios happening each time. It was a tense feeling to see who could get hold of the mega health in the centre of the map first, or being able to get hold of the sniper on one of the 2 towers and sniping helpless bots from a distance. These memories where if it weren't for the bots wouldn't exist and instead would be my younger self getting frustrated at real players because, well, I was bad at the time, rage quitting and then deleting the game permanently. I was a bit of a sore loser, to be honest. Of course, the bots do also have their negatives to them. I've already gushed over the positives throughout the video, but sometimes they can be frustrating to play with. There is nothing worse than a game such as Payday 2, where fighting alongside an awful team of AI quickly turns the experience into a fit of rage, or when you're down at the last second of victory and for some ungodly reason your teammates just won't pick you up. Some AI can be so bad that playing with them takes away the immersion that you initially felt from the game. Of course, it's not just Payday with this issue, there are many other games which have terrible AI, whether it's down to engine limitations or laziness from the developers who didn't put enough time and care into their bots. Of course, in Payday's situation, I believe it's the engine's limitations. I mean, come on, it's run on an engine called Diesel, which both sounds gross and was used to create a game in 2001 called Ballistics. Whatever that is, some racing game or something. So yeah, that's why the bots are the unsung heroes of gaming. They have their ups and their downs. They can give multiplayer games more accessibility for us single player fanatics, whilst also breathing new life into old games like Counter-Strike Source, giving more replay value. But of course, like everything, they have their negatives, of some being poorly configured and taken away from the experience, or in some scenarios being too difficult for an average player, which drives away those casual players. And for some people in my position, it gives us nostalgia of some of the older games that we used to play on those late nights where you just wanted to casually hop onto a game of Unreal Tournament and fight with the bots for hours on end. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you want more of this kind of stuff, just be sure to leave a comment and a like on the video. Subscribing also goes a long way, showing me you want more content from this channel and so forth. Anyways, have a safe and wonderful day everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video.